Launch.
We're here. I love the countdown on this thing.
Every time I see the countdown, it reminds me of that one song. God, I always forget the name of it. The one that's in space. It's like a classic one where it counts down like 4, 3, 2, 1.
I don't know. What is that?
I gotta get it. It's a. If I told you the title, you'd know it. It's a classic.
Okay.
It's like 80s, I think.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
oh,
It's a good way to start off.
Yeah, we'll
for
find some
1.
DJ skills.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this. Let's go. Hold on. Keep the crowd talking. Keep them talking. Just kidding.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
Powered by Riverside FM.
There you go.
Whoa.
Here we are. Which is funny because it wouldn't let me preview that. So I have an option to preview the audio before I hit live. Wouldn't let me do it.
Oh,
well.
Hey, song's called Major Tom.
Oh, yeah. Everybody. Yeah. That to ground control.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, my gosh.
That's a good song.
I don't know if I love or hate that song.
I like it.
That's a great way to start. We're doing a little music.
Yeah.
Trivia.
Yeah, I'm gonna start
Okay.
DJing on the weekends.
All right. What's okay? Let's play a little game. What's your favorite or not favorite or just what were you listening to on the way home? That's not podcast related. Like actual music. When's the last time you actually listened to music?
I listen to almost every night every drive home or on the way to work, but for me it's always the country station. So
Okay.
I love the 80s, 90s country, like the classic. Not this hip hop stuff now.
Whoa.
But
you don't like the new stuff?
No. Sorry about that, T Swift fans.
Oh, okay. Okay. We're potentially going to lose or gain more popularity by this because I'm going to follow
I think
that
I just
up.
won the whole
I'm going
South.
to follow it up. Yeah. So I am not a Taylor Swift fan either. I don't know if it's because I was too old for that genre. Like when she came out, you know what I mean? I was already an adult, already had a family, and I grew up on the 80s, 90s stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
You can become a Swiftie.
Is that what they're called?
That's from what I heard. That's what they're called. Yeah, one of my daughters is a Swiftie. One of my colleagues is a Swiftie.
Okay.
So
I'm more of
intense.
if I were to claim any sort of allegiance, what's the other one? Come on, start naming these things off. I don't know the actual name. Now I'm gonna have to look it up.
Are you talking song type or artist?
Yeah, like what's like okay,
R&B, rock.
The Hive. What is that? Beyonce's? Isn't that like her following?
I think so. Yes.
That's more me. We'll go with that. If anybody would like to comment on the YouTube or anything, I'm not a Swiftie. I'm a Hive. I'm a bee. Okay, so that's much more my jam right there. So country. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
80s, 90s country. It's definitely changed. This isn't a radio or a music podcast, but that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah,
I like the new stuff though because it's upbeat. Like I like to have a good time. I like to roll my windows down. I like to sing along. I kind of like the more upbeat than maybe some of the like really old twangy stuff.
Yeah, there's some good ones that come out. I think it just keeps it hip and fun. The one I liked a little bit, but I just couldn't get on board with was FGL.
FGL?
Florida Georgia Line.
Oh, dude, come on. Oh,
I know I'm burning some bridges here.
Yeah.
They have like one or two. I
didn't even realize that's what they're called. I just call them Florida Georgia Line.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of like the Beehive. That's their things. The FGL.
It's FGL. What about Morgan Wallen?
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's a good one. Good one.
Yeah.
Yep. There's some good ones.
I like hip hop and rap, so I'm really a fan when they like collab and it works out good. I'm like, okay, I like this. This is definitely up my alley.
Yeah.
So
it just has to work though.
Yeah, some of them are not good. Some of them are not good at all.
Well, before we tear into our topic, I wanted to do a shout out to our sponsor. Shane and I would like to thank our sponsor, Breaking the Chain Consulting.
All right.
Check out their the book, The Arch. It's on hard copy. You can get through Amazon or audiobooks, which is pretty cool. So check out Breaking the Chain Consulting. Mr. Jim Newell has got some great classes. He does conferences. He does trainings for cities.
Yep.
Great dude. Thank you.
Thank you, Breaking the Chain Consulting.
We couldn't do it without you. Thanks.
I'll be completely honest. Didn't mean to click on that. I was hovering over it. So.
Hey, I was like, hey, the cloud, the cloud.
You're good.
The
I was
crowd
like,
going
okay.
crazy.
I'll click on this here when we're done. No, it was good. It worked out. That's awesome. So what is new, Justin, in your world as it relates to not even code enforcement, but anything?
Well, this week I went to city council.
Nice.
Our director was on vacation, so I was filling in on his behalf. So I had some more meetings this week, but the cool thing was I was able to go to city council and present our proclamation for Code Enforcement Officer Week,
Yes.
Appreciation Week, which is actually this coming Monday. So I was able to get that proclamation read by city council. We took some photos. I mean, it's really cool. I'll have to say I've worked in code across 4 agencies, and I would say 3 out of the 4 for sure supported us. But this is the first agency I've worked at where they actually take the time to be willing to do a proclamation. And then on top of that, not only were the things that they said nice, but the next day I was at another meeting for our Make a Difference Day, and one of the council members came up to me on the side and just commended our code team for the great work they do. He said, I know code's not always the most liked, when you get a phone call from them or you get a letter, but you guys do a great job. And so it really goes a long ways when you have elected officials that support your team. So it was a really good week for us.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because in California, it's always the second week of October.
Yes.
The second, I don't want to put a date on it, but it's that actual second week. But I know a lot of other places, it's different weeks in October, right?
And the whole month.
For the whole month, I mean, for all of, October, some places celebrate it all month. Some places do it like the last week. So it varies.
Yeah, from my understanding, I know the American Association of Code Enforcement, ACE, has adopted the whole month. And I think because of that, a lot of states have defaulted to just honoring what ACE has put out there.
Okay.
But here in California, which is pretty cool, is the state legislature passed a resolution in 2018 that basically, documented that the second week of October is Appreciation Week. So that's why KCO follows that. But it's pretty cool to have the state, politicians actually lock that in.
Right. Which is good.
Yeah.
Because they do that. And then like some new Senate bill comes down that we have to like deal with later. That we get like
quite a few of those.
Hey, thanks for doing what you do, because I'm about ready to sign something that's going to really make your life suck. So, or potentially better. I mean, I guess it just depends. It shouldn't be like that.
Could be better for residents.
Could be. Yeah, absolutely.
But
could be
more work for
depending
us.
on who. Yeah, could. Yeah. Usually. So that's cool. Yeah, I mean, shout out to my supervisor who took us out for lunch in celebration of Code Officer Appreciation Week, but we went a week early. So he sent us a text, hey, we're going to go to lunch. And like nobody really thought about it. And then we went to lunch and was like, oh, it's not till next week. So he was early. He was good. He's spot on. So
it's a thought that counts.
It's a thought that counts. Yeah. So my city where I work is pretty good about, appreciating what we do on, a daily basis. But it's especially important, and it's kind of nice when you have that whole week or month where you're definitely recognized, more exclusively than the normal day. So shout out to all the cities and counties that are, taking their coworkers out, taking their people out for lunch, giving them gift cards, doing whatever, or tiny proclamations, honoring them. So that's good. It needs to be done.
Yes, and I've seen a few across the country. I've been watching some of the other state associations and their cities on the cities' Facebook pages that are sharing acknowledgement of their code
Yeah.
enforcement staff. So it's really cool to see that kind of flood in from different states. That there's appreciation for that.
Yeah. That's good. Let's do a little let's do a little thing here. Let's do this.
There we go.
You, dude, you're the guy. Just let it play. We'll just let this one play a little bit. Yeah, keep it up. Come on. Come on.
Yeah. Raise the
All right,
roof.
enough. Silence. Everybody shut up.
Man, that silence button came on quick.
Man, you like that? That's how we do things.
They went quiet.
Yeah. So I think that's good that we bring that up because I know this week we wanted to really discuss about it's kind of networking, but it's more about like a support system for code officers and the profession in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we brainstormed a little bit. We kind of came up with a couple things like, hey, what can we do that's just not networking? I think that was a point we talked about. Like networking's good. I guess we'll just dive in and start right here.
Sure.
Networking is great for, potential professional opportunities, meeting other supervisors, meeting other departments, seeing how you stack up with other agencies, because we know we all do it. We're going to act like we don't. But, when you sit down at a class with somebody and they're from some other agency, oh, where are you from? And then you kind of find out maybe a couple things that they do or don't do. Everybody gets back to their agency or gets back to their colleagues and they're like, can you believe that's what they do? Like, oh my God. Like, or, hey, that's really awesome. Why don't we adopt that? So it works both ways. Mm-hmm. So outside of the networking part, we wanted to really kind of talk about it's not just networking for you potentially to have any sort of professional development, but also just your psyche, your mental, all that stuff. Just to have somebody else that knows like they're in the trenches with you and that you're not the only one. So
those are, great points. I'll have to start with just since you brought up networking. To be honest with you, since I got into code, I honestly attribute a good chunk of what I've learned and developed in my career over the years to networking. Mm-hmm. Not just, stroking egos and feeling important, but when I got business cards and I had those networking opportunities, when I had some weird case pop up or counsel said, hey, you guys need to figure this issue out. Yeah. And then I was like, oh yeah, that one guy or that one gal from so-and-so, they deal with that. And I call them up. They tell me how they implemented it. They send me copies of the documents. Right. And that's helped me professionally. So networking is key. But, I think, it's interesting in our career. I don't know about you, but for me, I've had a lot of friends since high school and I've stayed in touch with, folks in high school and my other jobs and childhood friends and stuff like that. But really, a lot of the ones I talk to day in and day out now, such as yourself here on this lovely podcast, is people in this profession. And because we get each other, we understand, hey, there's some crazy crap that we deal with. And there's, some complaints that we'd never have expected to hear in our entire lives. But that's, the job that we have. And so I think being able to talk to each other, vent, it's important. But I don't know about you, Shane, but I feel like a chunk of the folks that I talk to on a regular basis outside of work are people in this profession.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, especially as you move cities, counties, go to different agencies, maybe you work for the state now and you work for a county you still stay in contact with those people. Like I find myself reaching out to those people about day-to-day stuff, about cases, about, hey, can you send me a copy of that form that we used to have? And maybe we can do something a little different here. Mm-hmm. Hey, remember that one time we did this and, we discussed, doing something with the NOV, or remember that code we looked up? Because some people are really good about like retaining all that type of information, either whether it be mentally or physically on copies. Like I know people that are anything they write down or come across, I mean, they're really good about like writing it down. They put it in a folder and they have it. Same with business cards too. They almost have like a Rolodex of business cards.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so I find myself definitely talking more about this profession to people in the profession, because conversations with people outside of it, not that people couldn't understand it, but they kind of don't go anywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, what are they supposed to ask me? Hey, what do you do? Okay, perfect example. I go to a sporting event for my kids. Everybody's talking, and I really don't care what people do. It's more like the person. Like, I could care, you know what I mean? Like, find it funny that we ask people what they do, because what's it matter?
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Are you gonna? I'm a cop. I'm a firefighter. I work for public works. Oh, I'm a school teacher. Oh, I own a business. Oh, like, are you gonna have a conversation with this guy or not?
Right.
Or gal? Like, what's it matter later? You're not gonna hang out with them because it's, then they're not gonna admit to you. Oh, I'm a dirtbag.
Yeah.
That's for you to judge.
I sell cocaine on the side.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I
I'm the
totally
world's
get that.
largest fentanyl distributor.
Right. I'm in pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, pharmaceuticals and street pharmaceuticals. But the perfect. I have people ask me. The conversation comes. Hey, what do you do? Okay, cool. Like, I don't fully know what maybe they do, but I have a good understanding. When people ask you what you do in code enforcement, I mean, in my mind, I'm like, okay, how can I simplify this enough to like explain to them what I do, but still provide enough information so they have a better understanding? And you can't do it. I don't care what you tell somebody, oh, I work for code enforcement. Oh, you're like a meter maid. And I know we've talked about this before, but like, there's not enough to tell somebody or to provide them. So I keep it very broad. I just try to be like, hey, we do building stuff. We do like all the municipal codes. Your neighbor that's got the crappy car that's parked in the driveway, that's what we do. Like, we kind of just do everything in the city, that's not related to like actual construction. As far as us, like putting up street signs or like repaving roads and stuff, we kind of just do everything. That's what I tell people.
Well, I know.
What about you? I mean, I got to turn my fan on. Hold on. I'm like burning up in here.
Don't cook, please. Don't cook.
I told you. Okay, hold on. Like surfing.
Earthquake. Don't lose your balance.
Oh, God, that's just me. Not earthquake. It's lack of coordination at this moment.
No, it's funny, when I first got into code a few years back, even my wife jokes about too, is that we'd have, when we lived in apartments and our neighbors and stuff would come out and our kids would play, the wives would get together and be like, oh, what does your husband do? This and that. And, it used to be simple when I, was with the PD and, she'd just say, oh, he works for, such and such PD. And,
right.
They already knew kind of what you did. But
they're like, okay.
When I got into this role, and she started off by saying, oh, yeah, he's a code enforcer. And a lot of people didn't know what that was a few years back. Now it's more common. Yeah. But they're like, what is that? Like, what is code? And so she eventually started, being able to explain it about, it's like, building inspections. It's, you work for city government, you do inspections, you regulate codes. And, because like you said, you don't want to be there for 30 minutes talking about like the definition of what a code enforcement officer is.
There's no way. Yeah.
There's no way.
It's not. No.
And it's too broad too. I mean, you go from city to city, even where we live, and code officers can do a variety of different things. So, you talk about the meter maid. There's some cities where you do parking enforcement, and other cities you do.
And that's all they do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's tough, but I'd say now it's actually more common that if you said, hey, I do code, people tend to understand a little bit easier than they used to.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
For the most part. But to go back to your point, I mean, you still probably find yourself obviously discussing more about it with code people.
Yes.
Right. I mean,
support circle right there.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of what we're talking about. Like, outside the networking part, it's like, no, that person's there for you to bounce things off of, to, possibly provide some sort of professional development. But I don't know. I think the big part of it is, ACE is coming up. Yep. Our California one's coming up. It is just good to be around people that you can look at them, and you may not like this individual. You may not like what their agency does. You may sit in this class and be like, this person's awesome, whatever. Like, at least everybody has a basic understanding of what's going on. right? Like you feel very, like, I don't want to say included because then it makes you feel like you're like a
Connected.
connected is a good word.
Let me pull out my thesaurus.
Thesaurus. You got another word? I say connected, even though maybe some people you're not connected with. You know what I mean? Okay, I don't know about that. Is that a thing? Is that a thing?
It's some type of biology thing.
So when we put this on YouTube, I want, if somebody comments on here, I want you to, I don't know if that's right.
I don't think it is either.
Okay, so this is here forever now. So somebody leave a comment. And speaking of YouTube, by the way, like still 85% of you are not subscribed who watch the videos. So
85%.
What is that? 15% are subscribed though. So that's good.
Thank you guys. You guys are rock stars.
And hey, I'm going to clap. I'm not going to do the button. We have over 1,000 views in our very short time that we've had our YouTube channel. Between a couple shorts, we're going to start putting up the full episodes. So shout out to YouTube and everybody out there. It's pretty cool.
Thank you for subscribing and liking our stuff.
And then once again, if you
more hits,
leave a comment on what Justin just said, because I don't know if that's right. The definition of what was the word? Can you say it to us one more time, please? Ambiotic. Ambiotic. I don't think I'm saying it right either. When you
Ambiosis?
I don't know if that's right either.
Me neither.
It sounds more like a medical term.
Yeah, I think I've been out of school for some time, so I'm
okay. We'll go with connect.
Yeah, let's go.
Feels good to connect with people. Name. Yeah, safe name. It's a good name. So no, but you're right. It's like outside the funny part of the names, you feel connected, or like I said, this sense of, I don't want to say energy, but yeah, everybody like gets it. Everybody understands. You can look at somebody and be like, okay, if they're here, they get it.
Yeah,
like, I don't have to explain to them my job. When we're checking in for the conference, it's like, okay.
Well, what's great about the conference is like when you have like the lunches and stuff when it's on site.
Yeah.
I remember I went to one a couple of years back before COVID up north, and I was the only code officer from my agency that got to go because it was expensive. And I walked into the
lucky
kind of like
you
the lunchroom and looking for a table, and all the tables were taken. You couldn't find your own spot.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily, these guys sitting not too far from me at this big table, they were the entire team from Pomona Code, and they're like, "Hey, you want to?" Yeah, you want to join us? I'm like, yeah, sure, guys. And so we sat down and we exchanged stories and introduced each other, and that right there is what it's about. That was, they saw me looking for an open seat, and they said, hey, you know what? Let's get to know this guy, and that whole team, the supervisor, Pomona, that was a couple of years ago, but that was phenomenal, and that's kind of what you're talking about,
that's
connecting, cool. Making friends.
Yeah, I just picture you with your tray of food,
my little apple,
looking like a lost soul, like
my milk carton.
Like, hey, come on to this cool guy table. Come sit over here.
Yeah, can I sit at your table?
I don't know if I've met anybody from Pomona. When's the last time you met someone from Pomona Code?
I've seen them at some trainings. It's funny, small world we're in, but the supervisor's wife ended up working at my next city that I ended up going to after that conference. She was in the HR department. And so when I got hired, she's like, oh, you're Justin? And she's like, I'm like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, my husband said that he met you at the conference.
Yeah. There you go.
And so I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, small world.
Yeah.
But that's that networking and building those connections.
Yeah. But see, that didn't have anything to do with the job though at the time. Like you had no idea.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, Pomona. Good. Hey, shout out Pomona once again. Good guys over there, huh?
Yeah.
Pomona's an interesting place.
Yeah, I'm sure they got their hands full.
I would agree with that. It's probably a very accurate statement, unlike the other one you said earlier. Ambiotic.
The ambiance.
Ambiance. What about outside of code? We talked about like running into strangers and trying to explain our job, and you're doing the best you can. What about like how important is it to have that support system outside of code, maybe within the walls of your own home?
True.
Like, how do you feel about that? Like, you're a family guy. Do your kids know what you do? Like, your wife probably has a good understanding. You've been doing it for a while. Like, what about like within your home?
Well, I think, for me, when I look at networking or like you're talking about the connecting with people, whether it's family or coworkers, I
Mm-hmm.
think of two categories that we usually vent or share stories about. There's the actual work cases and work related things that we can talk about or complain about. And then there's the personnel side of it, maybe like any employment.
Yeah.
My boss this or my boss that or my coworker. And so you vent. But yeah, with my family, my wife knows what I do. My kids have a pretty good understanding. Um, but I don't know. I guess what I learned, when I came from the police department initially was that, and my dad did a pretty good job about this too when I was growing up, is not really bring too much of the work stress home.
Like
So,
the bad.
not really talking about at at the dinner table and stuff like that, about, I saw a dead body today, or, my boss chewed me out and, I almost got fired today. That kind of
Yeah.
talk they say is not really good in the family setting, but
Yeah. Just curb
I
that
do,
stuff. Yeah.
I do share the stories with my wife and, might point out a few cool stories to the kids about things that I get to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I equally share that information within the walls of my home as well.
That's good.
How
I
about-
don't know. I feel like that's important
You do
because
that?
yeah, I do. So, I mean, my wife's been with me through a couple deployments, through the whole PD thing. Now she does this, is with me through this stuff and all the shenanigans that we do or don't do as code enforcement personnel. And you do. Don't act like you don't. Yeah, no, 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 no.
Oh, no.
So, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I talk to, you know, certain stories, and stuff like that I can kind of gauge, like, all right, they're going to understand this. This won't be over their head.
Right.
Like, I know how to filter out certain details that really don't matter to the story.
True.
And then my kids, when I started this, they were pretty little. And I used to get them to say code enforcement because it's like, they're like, code enforcement, say something funny, But it's funny though, because we drive around now and they're like, oh, hey, look at that vendor.
Right.
They're like, so they know, they don't understand the whole like permitting process of things necessarily, but they know, hey, Dad, look at that car. Look at that.
It's not right.
We'll be going somewhere and it's like, hey, what about this? I'm like, hey. So they know.
Little code officers in training.
But well, you know how I am. I make very light of certain situations and what we do sometimes. I just try to like a fun spin on everything. Like there's points of our job where it could be serious, but I mean, I don't know. I have a good time with it. So I do the same thing with my kids. Like when I'm telling a story, like I like try to put like something funny in it. Like maybe somebody came up to me car to car and said something funny.
Yeah.
Like while we were there, so I'll tell them stuff like that. It's not all doom and gloom.
No.
So, but no, I think it's important. I think it's important for our spouses to be involved to a certain degree or have a basic understanding, just so, that you're not just left on an island going from work to home. And
you have to have
like
that
sitting there
connection.
like, yeah. So it's a good therapy session here.
No, it is. And I think it's important, like you said, I think it's great as a parent to be able to share with your children and your spouse about, what you do 40 hours a week. And sometimes during OT, my wife knows like, hey, especially my last job, I have to go on weekends and nights for vendor sweeps and all this other stuff. And then my current job, I have a lot of special events I have to do. Like the next 2 weeks, my Saturdays are going to be filled with special events for the city. And so they know that I'm involved in that kind of stuff.
Busy,
So it's good for them to understand what we do and be proud of that and understand, that's what you made as your career.
Right.
And then also, like you said, for your spouse, as well as, friends, that they could be a support circle for you, that if you're having a bad time, you could kind of vent and say, hey, I wish this went differently, or,
Right.
and you could kind of get some thoughts out and they might be able to guide you a little bit better.
Yeah. And here's something to know too. I feel like you don't have to a person doesn't have to realize that they're the support person,
Yeah.
right? Like you may be like out in your driveway having a beer with your neighbors or whatever and just talking to them about your job. You guys are asking each other, like, they don't even realize they're kind of being your support system. Like they think you're just trading a story.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he's just shooting shit, or whatever. It's like, really, in the inside, it's like, nah, dude, it's like, this is something that happened. I have to get this off my chest. You know what I mean? They have no idea, though. Same with your spouses, too.
Well, and then they give you an answer that to them was just like shooting the shit, but to you,
right? You're like,
had an impact.
Okay. Yeah. You can learn something from everybody.
Yeah.
And apply it to anything. You really can. Whether it's certain people's demeanors or maybe like you said, their responses to something you said. You're like, well, I didn't really think about it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can apply that to your job. I did have not old, makes him sound old. I had a former colleague, someone I used to work with. They're still in the profession. And at one point, he did this before I got there, but he took his kids on a ride along.
Oh, cool.
With him. So they were able to do that. I think his kid got to an age where it was like, oh, Dad, buy me this, buy me that. How come we don't have this? You're kind of, maybe that age where they don't really understand, maybe not so grateful for things.
Yeah.
Is what it sounded like, is how he explained it. It's like, oh, you think your life's so bad, huh? Why don't you come to work with me real quick, and then we'll kind of see like how other people are living. So have you ever thought about that? I want to do that with my kids. I have to see if I'm able to do that.
Yeah.
I have one that's definitely old enough to be able to do that.
Yeah, I'd be curious what the policies are for some cities. I never, thought about that possibility. I like it when, the occasional times that your kids or your spouse are able to come visit at work. I've had coworkers that wife brings lunch. They might go to the break room and have lunch. Kids might stop by just to see dad's office or where he works.
Mm-hmm.
One cool one, which I think it was it's Michigan. Somebody that I work with our foundation, she shared on her social media and stuff that their city did this like open house just for staff.
I love when places do that.
And I thought that was pretty cool. Like they had the tractors out from Public Works. They had the kids doing all kinds of arts and crafts. They got to tour the city hall, and it was just a day for the family members, not the
Yeah.
public, but the spouses and the kids. And I thought, wow. Now that's pretty cool. That's putting the family first.
That's really cool. I love when places do that.
Yeah.
Because that's a part of that support system. Like now my family can meet another coworker's family.
Yeah.
Or now they can the
kids can play.
Yeah. I think I like that because I feel like that's a big drop off in the code enforcement community that doesn't happen.
Yes.
We know first responders do that, firefighters and police officers, the two kind of professions we're familiar with because family members and stuff like that. They're really good about doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Barbecues, events, putting stuff on. I feel like we're kind of not as much, like, I guess, outside of the walls of City Hall, so to speak. I mean, a lot of stuff happens after work. Oh, hey, like bowling night.
Yeah.
Like people do bowling nights, people do that stuff, but it's always like, employees only. It's always like a drink fest.
Yep.
So it's like, you know what I mean? There's never like a family fun event or anything like that.
I agree.
I know in the military they had, this is kind of fun. I wish it was kind of like this. They had this thing called, if anybody's listening, it's been a while since I've been in, they might have changed the name. So, relax. I didn't have kids at the time. Just was married. They called it FRG, Family Readiness Group.
Oh.
And what they would do is like, there would be like spouses and stuff like that. And occasionally and every once in a while things would get like, put together. They do like a dunk tank and like a whole like barbecue thing, or, there'd be tickets for something. They're really good about trying to keep people connected, like we're talking about, because when your spouses get deployed, like all you have is the people that are left on base, in your unit. So I don't know. I always thought that was cool. I'm glad. I know who you're talking about from Michigan, and that's cool. It makes me want to go work there.
Yeah,
like, that's awesome. Yeah, like, okay, cool. So shout out to you. You are. I don't know if they watch or even know this is a thing.
I'll have to send them a link.
But yeah, I'll let them know.
No, and that's what's cool is that I think having, like you alluded to, the military, fire, police, they kind of have built that network. And we talked about this in the past, and it's really, in my opinion, it's one of our biggest setbacks for this profession is I think because of how broad we are across the country with different titles, different job descriptions, that there's not a lot of unity. I mean, there's some states like here in California where, the association tries to bring it together. But the more that we get together and we support each other and we have circles like that, because you look at it, a police officer here is the same as a police officer in Kentucky. A firefighter here is the same as a firefighter in New York. You're doing the same
New York,
and New Jersey.
Hey. Jay-Z.
Gym Tan Laundry.
I like it.
But I mean, that's the thing, is that there's a lot of that similarity, so people can relate to each other. The public knows what they do. Their family members know what they do. But like you alluded to before, is we're still trying to teach people what code is. And, when we keep seeing changes in our job titles, that keeps also changing that up. I saw a post on Facebook the other day
about going back to the fourth time changed it. Yeah.
Fifth time in like 3 years. I'm like,
I've been there.
Changing your name 5 times in 3 years. Like, come on.
I've been there.
Come on.
Not like going back and forth, but like we had to do that. We went from code enforcement to like community improvement.
Yep, that's a popular.
And
one.
They changed the new shirts, new stuff on the vehicle. But yeah, was it 5 times in how many years was it? Was it
3 times? 5 times in 3?
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, figure that out. I think one of the comments was like, I wish they would stop doing that and put money into, equipment or something like that.
Right.
It was like, hey, can we stop spending money on getting us new uniform shirts and changing the logos of the vehicles and like get us some pens? Can we get a software or something? That was funny.
Oh, it's such a waste of money. That. And really, you don't see councils and elected officials doing that.
Philosophies, though, man.
What's that?
It is. It's just different philosophies, though.
Yeah.
You know how it is. Like it's just. Well,
I was going to say you don't see that happen with the police because they're so strong. Whether it's post or it's their associations, you don't see a council saying, "Hey, police officer, we're going to call you."
Let's go back to constable
or public relations officer or something like that. Soft and friendly.
Though. I could see that. I could see it.
Well, they want to, but they can't because the associations and posts, they all say that that's the standard, is your title is police officer. So with us, the more that this keeps changing around, the more we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot. And I just think we need to stick strong, and that way you have that uniformity across the board.
Yeah, with beautification team, that's what we're doing. I don't know.
That's a winner.
I don't know. I think for me, it's less about the name. I get where you're saying because, like, for police and fire, like everybody knows. You can go anywhere, police officer, sheriff, fire. That's it. Nationwide, all 50 states. It is what it is. I think for us, it's less about the name and more about just like understanding like our image and like we're talking about like the support groups and first responders. Like, hey, we're out there dealing with people too. Like there's just a lack of, I don't know if it's just knowledge or that we're so much newer than police and fire. I get it. I'd be curious to see that research. Obviously, police and fire have been around for a long, long time, much more established. But I think we need to start looking at ourselves in a similar light when it comes to support and like events and stuff like that.
I agree. I think
like a cloud hovering. Like this is support.
Sprinkle it.
Different branches off of the cloud of support, the tree of support and the branches of love, and
keep it trimmed.
Trim that tree. I don't know. So I think, the networking thing is good, but like the support stuff is more important, either through your agency, outside agencies, with your family, with events, Shout out to the person in Michigan. Did we already do that? Shout out to them. Doing stuff like that. And like I said, I've worked at agencies where it's kind of both. Like internally, the coworkers were awesome. We'd play basketball games on lunch. We would do like a Thanksgiving football game. Like we would all get together. Our families would meet. Like we kind of did that on our own. Where I'm currently at, it's like we do a lot of things like they send emails out. Hey, come to this event. We're trying to do this. We got this team thing. Hey, it's so-and-so's birthday. This is what we're going to do. We're going to celebrate all these birthdays for this month. Like, so it's different. It's more kind of organization driven than it is internally, but at places, it's more internal than it is maybe like big picture organization. So it just depends, but we need to keep doing that stuff. We need to include more and more people in our circles.
I agree. And there's that one supervisor that's here in Southern California that's on the Facebook group.
Do I know them?
He posts a few times every so often where he calls, I think, the buddy check. So I think it comes from, he's a military vet himself, but I think it comes from his experience with that doing a buddy check that, if you haven't heard from somebody in a long time, maybe you heard that the last time you spoke to them, they were going through a rough patch.
That's true.
Is give them a call, text them, say, hey, how you been? I think that's important. So I think it's great that he does that through our social media.
That's definitely, I would say, I'm sure a lot of places do it, but a military thing is to do that. It's like, hey, you haven't heard from somebody, especially when you get out. So like, we'll just take an example. When you leave, at the end of the day of your shift of code enforcement, like reach out to somebody if you notice they had a hard day. They haven't seen them for a while. That's a big thing. The big thing they pushed, like, hey, do a buddy check, and like make sure if you haven't, if you thought about somebody, you haven't told them you love them, hey, call them and tell them you love them. There's a reason why they came across your mind. Give them a call. So don't let that one go. Oh God, I love you.
Are you telling me?
I'm just telling whoever.
Let's go get my Kleenex out.
It could be anybody. I love you.
We all love you. We're here to support each other.
No, I like the buddy check thing. I'm gonna have to check. Yeah, see who put that up because that's cool.
Well,
not bad about that.
Also, on the same topic too, is what we're doing here, Shane. You and I is along that same line.
Knock it off.
It's venting. Hopefully we'd love to have more people on the show that if anybody wants to talk about something in particular, we'd love to have a chit chat, but that's what this podcast was about. Don't have to be scared. Don't be scared. We're not going to roast you. That was only one time thing. Yeah. It works it could happen again. Let's not lie to the people, Justin. Now they're not coming on. No, they'll come on, but no, like it's so easy to come on this podcast thing that we have going on here. So simple. I send you an email, you click it and say, I would like to participate. And then like, that's it. And then you talk like we're talking right now. You don't even need a whole setup. We had one guy on here with his iPhone and headset. His AirPods. Yeah. And it worked. It worked great. Yeah. That was James, right? I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, his AirPods in. He's like sitting at his dining room table. It's like, this is great. So it's good. We would, if you would like to come on to the show, hey, like I said, you can reach out, codelockerpodcast@gmail.com. Or we'd love to hear stories. Or you could probably reach out through Facebook, I would imagine, right? Someone can message us. Yeah, they can message us. Or YouTube, either way. Try to monitor that as well. I would say YouTube. I would emphasize that more, but only 15% of you subscribe. Got to bump those numbers up. Yeah, I need a blue button. I need I know I'm going to find one. Like a curse button. That bleeps it out. So, I don't know. What do we want to take away from this one? I think buddy checks. Buddy check. Networking is more than just you handing out business cards. Exactly. Support systems internally, and I would say within the walls of your home. Exactly. And then say you love somebody. It's okay. You're thinking about them. It's for a reason. It's for a reason. True. Facts. No, I think those are phenomenal takeaways, and that's, we'll keep talking about that over future episodes. It's just in general, the ability to support each other. And that's why we call this the Code Locker. This isn't called the interview room. This is the locker room. This is where we can just talk about things and be with each other. And
the interview room. Where were you at 10:30 last night?
is this IA?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know.
No, I don't know.
Okay. Right. You watch a lot of.
I stayed out of that one.
Right. A lot of criminal shows is what you watch, right? A lot of crime shows. That's what it is.
That new FBI show that looks dumb as heck.
Right. 911 emergency or whatever they are.
They're so far-fetched.
Whoever watches those, hey.
Yeah. To each their own, excitement.
Actually, to not eat those. Hey, those shows suck. Okay, like watch something else, like Real Housewives. Cool, man. You got anything else we want to cap this off with? Or you're
just
good?
That I know because this, we do this recording and then it comes out in a couple of days, but we're just
Wednesday.
about her. Was that?
It'll be out Wednesday, like
It'll
usual.
be out Wednesday. But is that, the next 2 weeks, it's going to be busy. Shane's going to be out at the ACE conference next week. When you hear this drop, the next Monday, he's going to be out at the ACE conference.
Yeah, that following Monday.
Yeah. And then the following Monday after that, we're going to be at the Casio conference together with a Code Locker booth.
Yeah.
Thank you, Casio.
Thank you, Casio. Apparently, we're going to have a whole booth.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty sick.
We were just planning on being tucked away in the corner in the shadows for I don't know, an hour or two. Apparently we have a booth. We're probably going to have just a fold up table from Walmart. We might pick up a black tablecloth.
Yeah.
Might pick one of those up
at a flea market.
I know we do have a little bit of swag to give away.
Yep.
We're not doing contests. We're not doing all, unless you want to. I mean, I don't know. We don't really have anything cool to give away. Just come by the booth. You might be pleasantly surprised, like we were.
We'll sign autographs on Post-its.
Perfect. Yeah. So we'll be there. We'll have a booth set up. I don't know what's going to be at the booth. Just an empty table.
Yeah, just look for the orange and the white from the logo.
Yeah, logo. Look for that. That will be a thing. Yeah, so we'll have this episode will come out Wednesday. So as you listen, this will be Wednesday. We'll record one more next week, right?
Yep.
And then that one will drop
while you're at the conference.
While I'm at ACE, and then probably record one in between ACE and then Casio.
Yeah. And then
we're going to try to go live from KCO.
Yeah.
I don't. We tried to do that last week for anybody that listened. It was a gaggle F, and we'll see. It did not work according to the plan.
I think we'll figure it out, even if we have to.
Even if we just record it. Yeah. No, well, I think we can just record from there too.
True.
And then we can post it the following week. We don't. Live would be preferred because you capture everything.
Yeah, the excitement in the moment.
This has nothing to do with anybody that we're talking to or about. But so that's the schedule for us.
Busy couple weeks.
So we're going to try to get the episodes in and done. We'll try. No promises, though. Maybe we should leave it open-ended. No promises.
Yeah, let's play it safe.
I got a kid that's currently sick right now, so we'll see how that goes. I know things are going around, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
This will be fun.
That's it.
Yeah,
fun.
Look forward to seeing everybody.
Fun. Going to Atlanta. That'll be good. I was thinking, don't get lost. You made it sound like something's going to happen.
Hangover,
I just want to eat. I just want to eat food.
This could be some good food.
Good food. Anybody knows a good joint in Atlanta, let me know. I'm looking forward to it. I love barbecue.
Be a good turnout.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm looking forward to.
A lot of people.
My understanding, this thing is huge.
Yeah.
Huge. So we'll see. Yeah, and then Casey. So we are going to be busy. It's okay though. And then Christmas.
Yay, the holidays.
Yeah, what is it like? How many Fridays till Christmas? 10?
Wow.
No, it's more than that. I made that up.
Not much.
I don't know.
Much.
It might be 12. Maybe it's, let's see. We got what? 3
like
more
11?
Fridays in October. Then November, 4 Fridays. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Better start putting a layaway.
Yeah.
If anybody knows a Kmart that's still open, let me know. So, yeah. My kids ain't getting nothing. Nothing for you kids. No, I'm just kidding. So, anyways. All right, man.
Sounds good. Well, that's good tips. And we'll see everybody at the next episode.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by Code and Locker Podcast Tips and Tricks.
The Tips and Tricks Locker.
Tips and Tricks Locker. Oh, God. It sounds like a different podcast.
It does.
Anyways. All right. Hey,
Time to
till
log
next time,
off.
my friend. Yeah. Till next time, bro.
Till next time.